It's quarterfinal time. Okay, so the fight we're getting this episode is Ren versus Nelson. I'm picking Nelson on the basis of better stand-up, better grappling, similar wrestling levels. I'll go with that. I think Ren has the advantage in wrestling, but when you think about it, if you have the advantage in wrestling and you have the advantage in nothing else, especially against a guy, you know, we're not talking like a little difference in grappling. We're talking about a big difference in grappling. I mean, what do you even plan for? I mean, you can't really sprawl and brawl because, I mean, we haven't seen Ren stand up that much, but I mean, I've found some footage of him through various sources, and it's not deficient, but it's not good, would be, I guess, what I would think. Nelson's stand-up is ugly, but he's hung in there with the likes of Arlovsky and Ben Rothwell on the feet, and that would kind of lead you to think that he has, and he hurt Rothwell. Like, Arlovsky KO'd him, but he did hurt Rothwell, and that leads me to give him the striking edge and the grappling edge. I kind of give him over everyone. The wrestling edge, that could be Ren's, but what do you do with it? As for how it ends, yeah, I'm gonna go with a submission, I think, because I think when you think about it, he's not gonna get the dominant position to pound out Ren, I don't think, because Ren's a really good wrestler. But he could potentially get his back or something and choke him. Maybe, I'm gonna go as far as say rear naked choke. I'm gonna say that. Other than that, we see some training clips and how it's hard to train so many guys that are in semifinals. If I were Rashad, I would probably bring in 2 other Jackson fighters and kind of split the training camp up like that. And maybe himself concentrate on Daryl and his chance to eliminate the last of Team Rampage. Then we have Matt Mitrone with a headache and some dry heaving and some other things. Just looking kind of out of it. Some of his teammates, particularly Justin Wren and James McSweeney, they think he's just being a suck. Daryl thinks he's a little dehydrated. Possible, I guess he kind of shows some of those symptoms. And Brendan Schaub thinks he has a concussion. Props to Brendan and Daryl for being good teammates. Shut up, the rest of you. Because, I mean, he didn't say anything about it. He didn't use it to get out of training. He didn't use it to do anything except go home and go back to the house and go into his room. So I don't really understand where the faking idea comes from. I mean, I know he kind of milked the shoulder injury, but that was to get out of training. He didn't do it this time. I guess is the best way of putting it. That's the show so far, basically, and Dana White says we'll figure out who's the most worthy to come back, and you know the money's on Kimbo. I somewhat disagree with that because Kimbo's not his teammate. At the same time, Kimbo had one of the better outings of the 7 guys that lost. Wessel had a pretty bad outing. The only other guys I could think of are maybe the guys that went to decisions, like Junk, who with the detached retina wouldn't be coming out back anyways, and maybe Wes Shivers. Like I say, Wagner went to a decision, but looked, had nothing the whole fight. So I would like to make a better argument for why Kimbo shouldn't come back just for the ratings pull, but it would seem like he's the best candidate. Anyways, I'll be back at the next commercial break. Alright, so Matt went to the hospital, didn't come back. They went to training. Rashad seems cool with Kimbo coming back. I didn't expect him to be, actually, to be quite honest. I thought he would push for Wessel just because, you know, stick it to Rampage. The team seems good with it. James McSweeney is that's a fighter I'm never going to cheer for. That's for sure. He's just next to Wes Sims. And actually, I would say worse than Wes Sims, because Wes Sims comes off as funny when he's doing it, but James McSweeney comes off as the biggest ass of this season. That's kind of it. And you know what? The fact that he might fight Matt, and I would look forward to Matt knocking him flat on his ass, I would love it. I don't even like Matt. In fact, I really don't like Matt. I don't think he's that skilled a fighter. I kind of, you know, wonder why he's on the show. But at the same time, McSweeney's just such a insert whatever you want right there. There's a chicken prank pulled by Rampage's team, but Rashad just gets a laugh out of it. It was stupid. Really. Whatever gets you through the day. Anyways, Matt comes back. Wes Sims asks him, and then, you know, kind of makes fun of him when he doesn't give an answer, which he does not owe you an answer, Wes. I didn't really owe Kimbo an answer either. I keep saying his brain's rattled, which, whatever. It does look like he's not going to fight, but at the same time, I think I don't understand the massive hate he's getting over it. Anyways, that's just my 2 cents. Alright, so we get the Dana White visit for Matt. Matt says he'll fight unless the doc says he can, or if he feels like really lightheaded within the next couple of days. So, fair enough. I mean, quite honestly, if he's feeling lightheaded in a couple of days, then he probably does have some kind of problem, like a concussion. Some people seem to think that this is a bit of a pansy move, but you know what? Brain injuries are brain injuries. You don't want to take that lightly, if that is indeed the case. But we'll see how this goes. A little bit of training, a little bit of thoughts. James McSweeney's would like to say Justin's going to win. They claim that Justin Wren has a world-class BJJ defense, which might be the case. I'm kind of doubting my submission theory, and people are saying it could be a stand-up war, but you know, every time a wrestler, even when he shouldn't take the guy to the ground, when he stands on the feet with him, and he gets tapped good, which, you know, you think Nelson would, he goes for the takedown, and you know, that's kind of how I see that fight going still. So I still kind of say we'll probably see a Nelson submission, but this fight could go a number of different ways. Then we get Rashad's Dana White impression, which was nice. We got Kimbo's Justin Wren Donut Kid impression, which is also kind of funny, but really nothing this time. So next commercial break we go. Alright, so basically nothing happened. We got a weigh-in, and we went to another commercial break. Judging by the time left in the show, this is probably going to decision, actually, just because there's 22 minutes to go. So yeah, I'm thinking it's decision. So I'm going to go decision Nelson, which kind of, you know, is a change in my pick from before, but whatever. Be back. First round was decent. Either gassed hardcore and both showed, you know, a little technique in their striking. I'm not interested in seeing that again, but I don't feel like I've just wasted 5 minutes of my life. I give the round to Wren. I think Nelson showed more technique and skill, but Wren was the aggressor. The octagon control went to Wren. I think he landed more strikes, although a very much lower percentage of strikes. I would not, you know, fricassee a judge for scoring this round for Nelson, but I personally go 10-9 Wren. Interesting note, we actually got to see who was working the corners. McSweeney appears to be working Justin's corner, and Van Arsdale and Darryl are working the corner of Roy. I like Roy's corner better, mainly because it's got Van Arsdale, and I hate McSweeney. I also think McSweeney, he can give advice on striking, and that's it. I think Darryl, being the more well-rounded, kind of, and being somewhat of a not that dissimilar of a fighter from Roy, can kind of tell him what to do a little better. That's my opinion. Be back after the second round. Alright, the fight's over. Second round, Roy. I want to say all Roy Nelson, and at the same time I don't, because Justin Wren tried. He had a takedown attempt. He threw a lot of punches, but a lot of them hit air. His takedown attempt was thoroughly stuffed. Almost wound up with him on his back. That's kind of all there is to say on that matter, really. Nelson wins, just more strikes landed, much better percentage. Even though Wren was more aggressive, and maybe the argument for octagon control could be Nelson was eluding it, he got away, he circled out well.
I disagree with the 20-18 decision. I thought we needed a third round. At the same time, Ren was looking much more gassed than Roy, and probably would have lost in the third round. So Roy moves on to the semifinals. Next week we get John Madsen versus Brendan Schaub. Not sure who I'm going to pick. Want Brendan Schaub to win, because if he wins, I think it'll be a more exciting fight than the only way I see John Madsen winning, which is takedown, lay and pray with a little bit of ground and pound mixed in. But I don't know who's going to win that fight yet. Anyways, that's all for episode 9.